Hey out there, people. This is your host, Dumont, and welcome to another edition of Bakugan Talk. For today's topic, we're going to talk about Pythantus. For those of you that are not familiar with him, Pythantus is a trap Bakugan. So basically, it's going to come in the special attack package. So he's going to cost a little bit more than your normal Bakugan. And so far he has been released in darkest color, and the most recent is Aventus color. So just only 2 attributes. I highly recommend him in the darkest color. I think he looks really mean and really cool like that. Although, you know, he looks good in Ventus, and I'm sure he's going to look good in pretty much any color they make him in. But, you know, I highly recommend the darkest color. It just seems to work very nicely with the way he's designed and makes him look evil. He is a very scary looking snake, a type of snake, obviously probably a Pythantus judging from the name. Out of all the traps that have been created, Pythantus is probably the wildest trap that is made right now. He is definitely the wildest looking. You know, Zoak the Cube is probably, I've said it before, I think he's the most basic design, and it's a very solid, good one. But if you want something really wild and crazy, then you got to go with Pythantus for sure. And the other ones are good too, but you know, definitely it's all about the Pythantus here. The head sculpt is very good. The mouth can move a little bit. The details on the face, excellent. And he is one of the longest, if not the longest Bakugan made so far. The tail is also nicely sculpted. When he pops open, it's amazing just because he's so long. You know, he really pops open. He is a cylindrical shape in his, well, it's not a marble, but he has that cylindrical shape. Some of you have called it a barrel, and yes, he can barrel roll. So that is pretty cool. And I have heard complaints. I believe Cubing Idiot was one of the first to say that closing him can sometimes be a little bit of a pain. He does pop open very nicely, but the closing in part, yeah, I do agree. It could be a little tricky at times, but it's nothing major. It's not like super difficult. You just have to try a few times. So I haven't seen it as a real major negative on that part. And when he does open up, you're going to see a whole bunch of triangles on his back, because that's how he's just designed. And to me, those triangles almost, they look like spikes, you know. So he has like these rigid, spiky back that he can roll up on a Bakugan, and it looks like he could just like, with those spikes on his back, it's gonna really hurt if he wraps around you, you know. And we know that that's what boa constrictors and pythons, you know, they like to do that kind of stuff, right? They like to squeeze. So that to me just makes it even cooler and more menacing, you know. But anyway, that's not the main focus that I want to talk about. The main focus that I want to talk about is, okay, on the forums we've talked about Pythantus, and I mentioned, I was like, how do you use this guy? You know, I do understand how to use a normal trap, you know. For those of you that don't know, the idea is very simple, okay? Before you battle, right, after your Bakugan is already standing on the gate card, and your opponent is also standing on the gate card, and you know, you flip them over, you flip the gate card over, and you know, you're about to add the attributes to the G power bonus to your Bakugan, right, from the gate card. So like if you have a Ventus, then it's going to say on the card, on the metal gate card, it's going to say Ventus like 100 or something like that. And you're about to add that to your Bakugan, right? You're about to add an extra 100 G points, right? Well, before you do that, right, you can drop a Bakugan, okay, on there, you can drop a trap Bakugan, and what that does is it changes the attributes. So if you had the Ventus, like I was saying, all of a sudden, and your opponent's expecting a Ventus, and all of a sudden you can change him into something else, whatever, your trap says. The thing about it is your trap also has to be a Ventus, so it has to be the same color as the Bakugan that you want to change colors, and then, so you could have a Ventus trap, and then it's gonna give you options. On Zoac, it's just one, right? It's just gonna tell you change it to Pyrus or change it to Chaos or whatever. But if you notice Pythantus is the darkest, or the one that I have is the darkest, and it gives you 3 different options. It gives you an Aquas, a Ventus, and a Subterra. So you could choose any 3. So that's really awesome right there. But in addition, right, you'll notice that it has 2 of each symbol. So it has 2 Aquas, 2 Subterra, and 2 Ventus. So for a long time, I didn't understand why did it have 2 of each, Does that mean that it can change 2 Bakugan at the same time? Or, what's up with that? I just didn't understand it. We asked on the forums, and not we, but someone asked on the forums and got an answer back, supposedly from a Spin Master rep. And the solution was that Pythantus, even though he has 2 of those 3 attributes, you don't do anything special. It doesn't count, and you pretty much ignore it. You just use him like a regular trap. He just gives you 3 different options. And they did, in addition, say that the reason why there was 2 is just because they wanted to fill it up. Well, I'm really not convinced with that. That does not make any sense to me whatsoever. And at my house, when I use Pythantus and when I play, I don't play like that. To me, the logical explanation is that you get double the attribute bonus from the cards. So if it says Ventus 200 and you decide to change your Bakugan into a Ventus, then instead of getting 200, because it's times 2, you're going to get 400. Very simple. And there are ability cards, and there are gate cards, I believe, that say, double your attribute bonus, or, something like that anyway. So it's not something we haven't seen before. It just only makes perfect sense for me to do that. So with Pythantus, I play with that rule. It just, I just don't get it. Now playing by my rules will definitely make Pythantus the most powerful trap so far, But hey, just like there are Bakugan with some have higher G numbers than others, That's just the way it is, So I don't think it's cheating. It just makes perfect sense to me, and that's how I play. So anyway, if you don't have a Pythantus, you should definitely go score him.